CIO News. I'm Madhuri, Pednekar, your host for the broadcast and a conference producer at CIO News. This is a recorded session and will be available on our website cionews.co.in and our CIO News LinkedIn handle. This is an exclusive fireside chat powered by Avaya on transformation through customer experience. Businesses are built by experience they provide, and every day, millions of those experiences are delivered by Avaya. Avaya is shaping what's next for the future of work with innovation and partnership that delivers game-changing business benefits. Let's dive in and let me introduce my guest for today. He's an experienced head of information technology with a demonstrated history of working in the telecommunication industry. His core skills being service delivery, vendor management, pre-sales, and telecommunication. Please welcome Mr. Gururaj Kannarpadi. He's a General Manager, IT Solutions, Design and Project at Vodafone. Sir, it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
My pleasure too. Thank you.
Thank you. So, along with me, we also have Mr. Nilesh Marathe. He's a Digital Engagement Solution Sales Leader at Avaya India and also our moderator for today's session. He has rich experience of 17 years in contact center and unified communication with organizations such as Nortel, Microsoft, and Avaya. Nilesh has a deep understanding of the Avaya engagement solution and has a good know-how on the customer journey mapping and diversing their digital transformation strategy. Welcome, Nilesh.
Thank you, Madhuri. Should we start with the discussion?
Yes, we can.
All right, okay. So, Guru, just this is a CX customer experience forum, the platform we discuss the customer experience and so on. So, the idea is to get your best practices out for our audience who will be watching. Maybe they can learn a trick or two from you or the best practices that you have adopted in your work life there, right? So the idea is to bring that out and so that the audience can benefit from your experience. So with that context, let me start with the question, which is, how are you managing your customer experience, right? So I know you are handling or taking care of the shared services, but your customers could be the users within the organizations or even the end customers, even so. So how are you responsible of managing the customer experience and is there what's the how you're using the digital channels, digital technology to complement your work, and how you're leveraging those channels to deliver the customer experience that you are delivering?
Well, for us, it's all the internal users predominantly, Nilesh.
Right.
So we are heavy into our digital tools, be it the MS Teams or within the Microsoft world, a lot of tools that is integrated,
Mm-hmm.
be it the Microsoft Viva or the Cortana. A lot of integration have been done with, as I was earlier also talking about Azure and Microsoft. We are very heavy on Azure and Microsoft tools on customer experience. Okay, it could be even the smallest polling also. It's very easy to do some kind of polling if you set up any call, any all hands experience with the users. We have some announcements to be made, or we have some new product launch or new service launch and stuff like that. And that goes on MS Teams live, or it could be the tube called HumoTube. Okay, so that also sometimes if it is one-way conversation, we could use that. Otherwise, it's predominantly MS Teams. And the polls, the forms, MS forms are very handy when it comes to online polling and stuff like that. So this is how we measure. Apart from that, we do a lot of surveys, by the way. We do the spirit beat surveys, pulse surveys. This happens every quarter, and this is cut across organization. There will be organization level survey, then there will be service, the center head survey, and the service lead survey. All will be put together and will be shared. So that also happens every quarter. It goes to each and every individual. yeah, there's a minimum maximum users per manager. So you will have to vote for the manager also. What are all the different spirits? How you get things? How do you get things get it done together? Or experiment and learn fast, fail fast. All such spirit is been polled and survey is taken, and the results are shared across all the users. So these are the few tools we use, few techniques we use to get the predominantly it's employee experience, I would say, more than customer experience. So employee experience is then probably converts or resonates to customer experience, right? That's how
Probably,
it works.
yeah. The employees are your customers.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In a way, yeah, that's right. Because I had the office IT design and delivery for entire voice. We call it as voice. We are not Vodafone. We are Vodafone Intelligent Services India. I
Yeah.
head for both India and Egypt for now.
Okay. Just on this a follow-up question on that you mentioned you have a lot of Microsoft tools, etc. So when these employees they get in touch with you, they use primarily Teams or email, or they pick up the phone and call you. How does that work?
Predominantly Teams. Predominantly it is Teams. It could be a chat. It could be a call, or it could be yeah, emails. We try to reduce it, but yes, that is the next thread. But yeah, it's predominantly chat and call on the MS Teams. That's
Okay.
the collaboration tool we use. Apart from that, we also integrated with a lot of other video bridges services and stuff like that, which is also getting integrated with MS
Right.
Teams. So we are doing
Right.
also the PixIP solutions is been deployed. So we use that video bridges also. But yeah, since we are not in office, a lot of video bridges not been used. But it's predominantly MS Teams. We were actually on Skype for Business. We still using Skype for Business for some of the
Mhm.
service, but by end of this year we will completely be out of Skype for Business. Yeah, as we talk, all our voice location, Vodafone location are all MS Teams, so we have migrated to MS Teams. Only piece that is left out is integrating MS Team with Outlook. That's the only piece left out. And then they'll completely remove Skype for Business.
Right. Okay. Just you mentioned you conduct a lot of surveys that you said, and those surveys are conducted on a monthly basis and so on. So that leads me to the next questions as um, probably partly it answers this question is how do you measure the employee experience within your organizations? The survey is one thing, but how do you put it to use? So how that process of measuring the EX employee experience works in your organization?
Yeah, basically it all boils down to the scores, right? How the scores, how each and every spirit, what I conveyed earlier, be it the experiment and learn first, or be it to get it done together and stuff like that. There are multiple spirit which Vodafone has come out with. So based on that, there will be a score to each and everything. How we are scored at the service level, at the center level, at the overall level, and what is the next action. If we are done good, continue doing good. Maybe improvise on something which is not done, not come out good. Not just conduct this one. It will be the surveys will be churned out with respective satisfaction score. Then there will be probably some action plan against. It could be against service. It could be against employee. It could be against manager. It could be anyone. So it all depends on how the overall survey looks and overall outcome is looking at. And based on that, there will be an action plan that will be tracked month on month. And in the next survey, we should see an improvement,
Mhm.
plus whatever it is. And based on the improvement, if there's something that has to be improved, that will be taken as an action. Not that we drop the ball, that we have done good, we drop the ball and we might lose out, right? We continue doing that good. At the same time, concentrate on what that is not helping the employee experience or the customer experience to make it uh, next level. So how we can get the score better. If it is 78, for example, how do I get it to 80? How do I get it? There will be a benchmark, by the way. Everyone cannot score at 90s or 95s, right? There will be a benchmark. There will be a specific benchmark done, and we have to go with the benchmark and see how we can take up the scale.
Right. Just if you could just throw some light on how do you analyze the scores and then how the loop is closed, right? So let's say your survey dips, then how do you analyze it, and then how do you loop back on the corrective measures, etc. How does that process works?
So now, for example, if there is on a specific metric, okay, we have scored less. It's not just that it's the score. There will be some kind of remarks. It could be for the team, it could be for the service lead, it could be for the center lead, whatever it is, or vertical head, or whoever it is. There will be specific remarks. So that also at times gets completely articulated. Now, for example, if there is a dip in learning organization, for example, we took that as a challenge, right? In our own service, that let's create a learning organization, future ready organization. We are our one of the spirit is future ready, right? We are moving towards cloud, and everyone is migrating towards cloud. We are also part of it, right? We are also having both public and private cloud. So how do I build a learning organization starting from my service? Maybe the network service. I start from there where we are 200 plus employees across India. So we build this learning organization. We started first is the soft skill. We separate it out with soft skill and hard skill. And we did a kind of a design thinking workshop based on this course that has come for that particular spirit information like learning organization. So how we can create this learning organization? What were the different soft skills? So we have multiple tools, right? We have Orally, we have LinkedIn Learning, we have Vodafone University,
Mhm.
lot of plural site, lot of learning tools are there, right? How do we get all this, integrate them? What training helps which person, which user, which employee? That gets into more and more detail. And we created this learning on it. We created this weekly calls. Okay, all the leads come to the call. Now, this is what is input based on the design thinking workshop. This is the outcome.
Mhm.
Predominantly, that came out that we are heavy on technical and hard skills. There is no problem with that. So we have a lot of trainings in the LinkedIn Learning or wherever it's required. We have a lot of trainings available, be it the networking side or IT side or software engineering side, wherever it is, whatever is the individual contribution is.
Right.
But what we lacked was the soft skills. uh, all that soft skills were what kind of training will help. Public speaking, it could be emotional empathy, emotional intelligence, and stuff like that. This all started adding up and gathering air on that, and that got populated. And then we tie up with our L&D team, learning and development team, how we can package the soft skill trainings, because we are their customer right now for them. So we told this is what the outcome of the learning organization design thinking workshop. Now you can formulate the different training needs that has come out from the employees or the users. Based on that, we go back to the L&D and they formulate a plan that for the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, these are the few trainings which you can go. Some are internally done, some are outsourced, and so on and so forth. And we take it up. Majority internally done.
Right. Okay. And in your uh, you know in your process to supporting your employees and servicing them, what kind of technology that you use, what kind of automation or the analytics, have you built in some kind of analytics or automation? Some examples would be the password reset, right? Most of the calls or tickets for in the shared services are for password reset. So
Yeah.
have you looked at, this is one example, but have you looked at certain things? How do you go about it? And to what extent you have automated certain things, and what kind of technologies and tools that you use in your environment to better the
Wonderful.
experience?
Yeah. Well, very, very wonderful question, because this is something which we keep getting, not at the user level. User level is totally different. At the network level, because we manage the overall network, the WAN, LAN, wireless infra of the whole Vodafone intelligence services network across India, right?
Right.
So we have offices in Ahmedabad, Pune, and Bangalore, as we earlier said. So we used for network space, we use the uh, NetBrain as a tool. Okay, that was one of the tool which I was the architect for getting NetBrain into Voice India. So we used heavily on NetBrain, which does a lot of automation around password resets, or it could be around backup, restore, because we have a strong policy around password also, right? Every 3 months it has to be in specific modes, and all that is there. And there are multiple switches and devices across India, right? So
Correct.
everything cannot be managed and stuff like that. So we got into this, and this gave us a very good tool. This we started. We also use, not in the office IT space, at the enterprise level, we use UiPath also for our majority of network automations. But very recently, we have even started using the SolarWinds tool to get majority of our automation work, which are repetitive works, are there, be it the opening up of a ticket when their link is down, if it's an MPLS link or an L2 link, whatever it is down. So we have matured in the SolarWinds also to give many more inputs on the alerts, on the maps. We have consolidated the overall India links. If there is a domestic link failure, an alert, a ticket is sent, and reduce the I would say the reactive approach and work on the proactive approach. If there is something in which we need to go take it up with VI, if the link is down, VI or data service provider, we call them and get the issues solved. So which is basically a proactive approach of getting things done. So SolarWinds, NetBrain, and UiPath are the few tools which we have used, yeah, which has made us benefit a lot of. They even with NetBrain, we can even run some run books, right? We can schedule some of the configuration work,
Mhm.
which you don't have to do it every time. You don't have to log in and do it. You schedule it. For example, weekend is the low peak time. There is no users. So Sunday, probably afternoon, or maybe the late in the night, or whatever it is, run this configuration. Everything goes well. It's configured, and you can in the runbooks also does some kind of your test and check method, so that there's no wrong configuration. And so all this is given a good benefit. NetBrain and SolarWinds, yeah.
Okay. All right. So and we're coming out of the pandemic, right? So and I think it's a kind of a ritual to ask the questions around how did you manage the lockdown um, while everyone moved to work from home. What kind of challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome? Did you face any productivity issue, any compliance issues, etc.? If you can throw some light on that particular front.
Yeah, I would answer this in two bits. One is when the pandemic hit, March 2020. We were actually having uh, very minute work from home culture right from the beginning. It's not that we were not heavy on only work from office, right? We were having 10-15% of the people working from home also earlier. So we had built the capability of connecting from home through the VPN that is built in Pune and Bangalore. We had two VPNs in India predominantly. What we had to do when the pandemic hit, because we were not tailor made to run 10,000 employees on the VPN, right? So yeah, till about 3,000, 4,000, it was all good. And 30% is what our BCP plan was always. That 30% should be made available at any time at the time. So we had two VPNs, and 3,000 users was not an issue at all. So yeah, we had to ramp up our bandwidth in the first place, to, if it was 1 gig, convert them into 2 gigs. And that was done pretty fast, within a couple of days, with the help of VI. We were able to do that. That was one thing which we did, and we had to even ramp up our VPN boxes also. We were all having ASA boxes, Cisco ASA boxes. We had to migrate quickly to Firepower. So we did that in Pune, uh, pretty fastly. Got the devices, and yeah, that time when Cisco was able to help us out with faster turnaround times, and yeah, we were able to migrate in a couple of weeks. That took out majority of loads, and we split our user base also. That some of them can continue working on the VPNs in Pune, some of them can work on Bangalore VPNs and stuff like that. So this is what is the first part of it. When it hit, we split and we ramped up our bandwidth and the devices and the infrastructure, be it the back end fiber connects and stuff like that, which were all 1 gig or 2 gig, convert them to 10 gigs and stuff like that. All that as a part of a demand, we took that, we measured them and got the infra ready. So as we spoke even today also, where 90% of the people are working from home. Yeah, we did have some teething issues earlier. That's how I brought in some kind of proof of concept for digital experience tools. Okay, I did successfully ran a POC in our environment, which is through again another Cisco buyout called Thousand Eyes. I'm not sure you heard this company or not. So Thousand Eyes is acquired by Cisco, and I did a POC for digital employee experience solutions. When people were saying my network is fine, but I'm not able to connect to VPN and stuff like that. We ran this POC, and that is by this month or so is going live in voice. So that is one of the another initiative which we brought in as part of this pandemic. As the second bit of answering this is that as I was earlier quoting, we had converted ourselves into three personas, uh, namely work from office, which are specific users who can only work from office, be it the testing department. We have our VTV or Vodafone TV, what we call for the markets and in Germany and all. So that cannot happen at home. So we have categorize them as work from office. Okay, and we have the hybrid, which is partially at office, partially at home. Work can be done. We have one more persona called remote working. That work can be done from home also. Users can, for it could be a project manager or it could be a delivery manager. You do not have to come all the way from to the office and run his day-to-day operations. Maybe he can come 6 months once to meet and say hi and bye, and probably for a all hands or any some kind of event, maybe 6 months or 1 year once he can come. So these are three personas which we uh, did, and that's going probably live next early next year. That's what I was saying. The January onwards, this will kick in. January 3rd onwards. So there are three personas. That's hybrid, remote working, and work from office. These are the three personas we have categorized, and we have communicated this to the employees in multiple forums through HR with multiple calls and events. This is what is the resume to work is going to happen, and we are flexible. We are given that flexibility via the manager to how they can utilize their person and make sure they're made available. So because people some have left the base location, like some people are not in Pune, they are in their hometown, so they have to do that planning if they're in a specific person, or how do they want to come to the base location and stuff like that. So we are given enough time to plan and resume work starting January next year.
Perfect. Thank you for such an elaborate answer on this. That was my last question. So that with that, I think we are almost 30 minutes on the interview. So I'll wrap up this interview. Thank you, Guru, for taking time out. It was a pleasure hosting you, and thank you again for such a wonderful discussion.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a lot.
Nilesh. It was nice talking to you as well.
Madhuri, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gururaj. It was lovely talking to you and, for sharing your views and journey with us for our viewers. And thank you, Nilesh, for moderating the entire session today. So thank you once again.